Clarissa and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hello! Today's video I'm switching things up a little bit from my makeup and lifestyle and everything else, and I'm kind of showing you guys my photography. So I haven't done this on my channel before. I've had a lot of friends say that I should do this. Also, people always say that your YouTube channel is supposed to be a very niche thing, page that people can come to. I don't think my page is really established enough that I have to find like that one thing that I'm making videos on, because I'm a diverse person and I have a lot of things that I'm interested in and a lot of things that I do day to day. So I'm gonna keep the diversity coming on my channel and kind of still bring you guys new things. Now we're gonna go into my photography. So in today's video I posted this photo on Instagram. Astancia, who follows me on Instagram, and she's followed me for a while, and we kind of talk back and forth about photography sometimes. She told me that I should do a video on this specific photo for editing to show you guys how I did it, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This is my first time doing the video, so I apologize if it's not as clear and to the point as it could be, and these will get better as I practice more, just as my makeup videos and my blending has been in my other videos. But without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into the video. Okay, so here we have the finished picture that I just showed you guys. This is the whole photo in Photoshop, so I'm just going to kind of go through layer by layer, all the different adjustments that I made to show you guys what I did. Okay, so the very first image that I started with, excuse me while I hide all of these layers. Okay, so here is the very beginning image. This one is right out of the camera. I probably use the camera raw filter to edit this one just a little bit. I shoot all of my pictures in camera raw so that there's a little bit more editing I can do to them. So when I open them up on my computer, it automatically brings up the camera raw editing. So I'll probably adjust some of the colors, fix sort of the luminance in the different shades and whatnot. So in this one, I'm pretty sure I kind of dulled down the greens, made the oranges and the yellows a little bit brighter, and then definitely took away some of the yellow in my skin and whatnot, because I knew I was going to be adding that back in later. Okay, so the very first thing I did, as you can see from this canvas size where I have all of these pixels over here, is I made the picture bigger. So I learned this trick from my friend Eric, because he always used to make his pictures a little bit wider to fit to Instagram, and I like that better because I don't like having to crop out my picture, because when I'm looking at it I really do want to be seeing the full image and I don't want to have to take out part of it because I feel like that messes up with the composure. So I went ahead and made the canvas size bigger. So to do that, all you're going to do is you go to Image, Canvas Size, and then I usually lock to this bottom section right here because I don't want to have to add to the bottom. This picture I could because there's nothing down there, but that's what I normally do. And then you make the width a little bit wider. I usually sort of make it like 2 or so inches bigger. So I do that, and then once you do that, it will go ahead and give you these extra things on the side to whatever your background color is listed right here. So once you have that done, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I actually expanded the image so that it went from this to that. What you're going to do is you're going to be careful not to select your body if you have a person in the image, because then you're going to get to sort of moving around. I don't want to move my elbow to make it too broad or move it around parts of your body. But you're going to select all of the exterior area, and then I'm going to double click that or right click it. I'm on just a Mac, so that's why I'm doing it this way. Then you're going to go to, I have this layer locked. Let me go here. And you're going to go to Free Transform. So once you click Free Transform, then you're going to get these little boxes so you can adjust it, and you're just going to take that and just drag it sort of off the screen. You can bring it to the end, but sometimes there's a little bit of pixels that get left out and I don't like that white there. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it off of the screen. Then you click enter and it'll set there. I'm not going to set it because I'm just showing you guys what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel. Okay, and then you're going to do the exact same thing for the other side as well. And then for this one, I also, as you can see, made the picture a little bit longer on top. So I dragged going this way and making the picture bigger that way. Like I said, you don't have to do this. This is just kind of what I like to do so I don't have to crop the image, and so I can get a little bit bigger of a depth where I was in the image. Okay, so in this next layer, I had done those adjustments that I just showed you guys, but there also is some dodging and burning that I did in this image that I did not save the layer without that, so I'm so sorry that I didn't do that. But here is the fully expanded image that I just showed you guys from this one. Before and after, before and after. Like I said, with some dodging over here, which is all this lightness, and then some darkness over here. So the next thing that I did was I wanted to make this sort of front area that's blurred a little bit even more blurry. So you can't see that as a step within my layers, but I went ahead and used this tool right here, sharpen or blur tool, click the blur tool, and then I just blurred sort of this front area to give more depth and that sort of blurring in the front that I had there. And I did that a few times. Next, I went ahead and messed with the coloring. So my Instagram feed right now is yellow. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please check me out. I always put my Instagram in the description down below, but my Instagram is @ClarissuhNicole. My Instagram feed is currently yellow because I like to do a color scheme. So I wanted to make this background more yellow. So obviously this is kind of very bland and it's more of a fall look, but to fit my Instagram feed, I wanted that to be yellow. So I did this. So in this layer, along with the making sort of this yellow slash tannish green dead grass here yellow, I also wanted to bring out the trees more, make these more yellow, and also the sky was gorgeous. The clouds had this really cool pattern in it, but you can't really tell that much because of how, let's hide this burning. See, you can't really tell how much because of the colors, so I wanted to bring out the blues more so that you could really see that cool pattern in the sky. So here we are. I did all of that. So if you go into your adjustments here, once I clicked on that layer, I went ahead and used the selection tool and I selected my body so that I wouldn't edit that, and then I did right click and I did select inverse. So let's just pretend like I'm doing that here. I'm gonna select my body. Obviously you're gonna do a better job at making sure you're selecting the right thing. Here, right click, select inverse, and that gave me sort of that background. And then once I did that, with the layer selected, with the right area selected, you're gonna click right here, which is the selective color tool. So here is that tool that I had. So as you can see, for the neutrals, I sort of brought them down a little bit because I wanted the image to be a little bit darker around me. Whites I also brought down a lot because I wanted you to be able to see those clouds and sort of see more of the images in the sky. The biggest thing is the yellows. As you can see, I brought the yellow all the way over, as much yellow as I could. It took away all of the cyan and a little bit of the magenta. For the greens, I took away a lot of the yellow, brought down the magentas, and took away a lot of the cyan because I kind of wanted this muted color. I didn't want them to be super bright and green. And I also darkened them a lot so that it wasn't be very bright and, like I said, sort of that muted. Red, same thing. I brought in lots of yellow because the ground had sort of a reddish tint to it. So this had to do with the ground a lot. Brought in just a bunch of yellow and didn't really do anything else to it. Cyans, here I just wanted to really darken it and really bring out the blues in the sky like I was talking about, so I did that for the blue and for the cyan layers. And then that was, I think, all I did pretty much there, and that's what gives you this look. So the next thing I did is I wanted to sort of do a little bit of adjustments on my body. So I did the same thing where I selected my body, but I did not select inverse, I just left it how it was. And then I did a little bit of adjustments in neutrals and whites. So I wanted to bring the whites down a little bit so I wasn't quite so washed out looking. And then I think that was all I did actually, yeah. So I just brought down the whites a little bit for that one. Okay, and so this lever is just my under eye. I literally just kind of don't like having my the under eye bags that you see there, because that's just kind of from a lack of makeup. So I'll zoom in here so you guys can actually see the difference that I made. So I just edited out my under eye. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. The way that I've been doing recently that's just really easy is I'm just making another layer. So layer new, select a new layer and use the brush tool, and then I have a star selected right now. Use the brush tool select one of the softer brushes, and then if you click Alt, if you click the Alt tool, it will color sample. So I'm just gonna color sample some skin right by my eye and then fill that in on top, and then I adjusted that opacity to around 78 because I didn't want that quite that bright, but I still wanted to fix it. So that's where I did that. All right, and the next thing I did is just gonna be kind of some general image fixing. So one of the first things I did is, let me get all the way out here, is I messed with the levels. So as you can see, it sort of just makes the bright parts of the image a little bit brighter, and then a darker part of the image is a little bit darker, and there's a little bit more clarity to it. So in the levels, I kind of usually leave this middle one alone here for those midtones, but for the darker ones, I wanted to kind of make that a little bit darker, a little bit more contrast in the image. And then for the light tones, I sort of want to bring that down too to make the brighter parts of the image even brighter. Okay, so the next thing is a photo filter. So this is again in your adjustments over here. It is this one right here, the photo filter. So I just did a very slight adjustment for this one. I believe it's just an orange filter. Yeah, it's just like a very, very subtle difference. It kind of brings the tones down just a little bit. It was an orange filter, so you just click on this photo filter here, and it's a warming filter, and I brought the density down really, really low, probably only like 8% or something like that for that one. And the next thing is me adding in all of the lettering. So how I did this was sort of some trial and error because it wasn't exactly the way I wanted it to look. So I typed in letters happy, and I kind of messed around with the font that I wanted and try to look through here and see one that really looked good and felt the way that I wanted to. I actually ended up doing 2 images, and this one was the one that I chose. So as you can see, I have a lot of different effects on these lettering. So I just typed in the words that I want, and then the biggest way to sort of make this look like it's not just me typing on the page is you are going to click on that to get your layer style blending options. So on this one I have bevel and emboss, inner shadow, outer glow, and drop shadow. I can link a video down below for a neon sign tutorial that I kind of watched to get my idea for this. This is not really a very intense neon sign because obviously it's not really believable that there's a giant happy in the middle of the sky. I just kind of wanted more so the effect. So it's not super accurate as far as really looking like a neon sign, but like I said, I'll link that video down below to the one that kind of taught me how to do this, and I sort of adapted for this video using all those different effects. See, you can't really even tell that much when I'm clicking. See, that outer glow is sort of that big one where you can really see, let's go, I'll zoom in so you guys can see that, where you can really see what is it's doing. And then when I do that, you can also see that drop shadow, that underneath that happy, that's that shadow underneath. And then the inner glow would just kind of give that more dimension as well. And the bevel and emboss, same thing. Because this is very plain, not really believable, but when you add all of those other things, it makes a huge difference. So the next thing I did is once I had that happy in there, that's what you guys can see on this layer here with all of that dodging and burning. So I pretty much just kind of took it at like, okay, let's say there is a random neon sign in the middle of the sky. How would that affect the light around it? I really wanted it to be closer to my head, but this is just kind of the way it worked out because it didn't really look right on top of that yellow tree. So I put it in the sky, but I wanted to make sure it still looked like the letters were glowing all around it. So I'm just gonna go over here to the dodge or burn tool. I'm using the dodge tool, and I use a combination of the shadows and the midtones. I usually do a very low exposure, so it's not doing a ton. No. So it's not doing a ton, and then just sort of dodging all around that happy to where the letters would be, sort of following the letters around that, and then also doing all down here so that this is all lightening up so that it's going to reflect that if this sign was glowing, how would the shadows work with that. So as you can see, that part of my head gets a lot brighter there when I hide and unhide that layer with that dodging and burning. I also kind of made this a little bit brighter so it stuck out more. And then back to where I told you guys I blurred this area underneath here, is I also really wanted there to be sort of more shadows here and a more lightness sort of in this one spot here. So I did the same thing where I just used that dodge right here to lighten up that part of the image, as you guys can see. And then this very last layer is I added just a little bit of yellow for that glowing of the happy. I really want it to be more yellowy toned and not sort of just that white from the dodging, so I added that. And then this is the finished image. Well, like I said, this is my first time doing one of these tutorials, my first time using my screen record on my Mac. So make sure you guys let me know what you thought of this little bit of change for my channel. Like I said, I'm gonna keep putting out all different content because I don't feel like my feed really has something that I have to be set to, that I have to keep doing consistently. This was something a little bit different. I'll definitely be doing more videos like this. If you have any pointers for me, criticisms, critiques, advice down in the comments below, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in my next video.